Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. Thank you. Thank you for your burst of energy. Welcome to A Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Hey, you guys remember Michael Flynn? It's been a long, strange saga, so let me catch you up. Jim?
Previously on Michael Flynn.
Michael Flynn resigning after the shortest tenure ever in that post.
Retired General Michael Flynn pleaded guilty today to lying to the FBI.
Flynn's attorneys tonight filing a motion to withdraw his guilty plea.
The other side of the Michael Flynn story tonight are the actions from Judge Emmett Sullivan, who's attempting to proceed with possible prosecution.
You will know.
Everybody will know.
My husband.
Everybody will know.
You understand that? Everybody will go after my husband.
And now, tonight's episode of Michael Flynn.
Welcome to Michael Flynn, where, just like every other prestige drama these days, we're not afraid to kill off beloved characters, because in tonight's episode, we're bumping off Lady Justice. This morning, a federal appeals court ordered the judge to dismiss the criminal case against Michael Flynn. Well, I'm sure he's learned his lesson, that rich, well-connected people don't have to learn lessons. The order to dismiss the case without review is called a writ of mandamus, which is also the name of a poorly received Harry Potter courtroom novel. Your Honor, expecto objectum. This comes even though Michael Flynn already twice pleaded guilty of lying to the FBI. But in the end, it was just a case of he said that he did it twice. And the whole thing feels fishy. The two judges who ruled in Flynn's favor have a history of seeing eye to eye with the Trump administration, and one of them, Judge Naomi Rao, is a former White House official whom Trump appointed to the appeals court last year. Look, I'm not saying she's in Trump's pocket, but I was suspicious when she gave that ramp the death penalty. This ruling means the politicization of the Justice Department has sunk to new lows. But I guess we should have expected that. After all, it is literally run by a low bar. So congratulations, Michael Flynn. You're off the hook. You can now go back to your day job of peddling influence to foreign powers for cash. Turns out Trump's right. Businesses are opening up again. And maybe too fast, because the coronavirus pandemic, remember that? It's nowhere near over. One sure sign, I'm still broadcasting from my den with Jackson Browne's haircut. Say a prayer for the pretender. If anything, the plague is getting worse. Yesterday, the number of new cases grew to their highest level since April. What? April? Come on, we have to have made progress since April. I don't want to go back 5 months, 6, 10 years. It's impossible to know. You have to cut me open and count the rings of my gut. I'm well marbled. The COVID spikes are especially bad in 3 states. Florida reported a new daily high of 5,508 cases. Texas reported more than 5,000 cases, its largest single-day total yet. And Arizona added more than 3,600 cases, also a record. Okay, that sounds bad, but remember, in Arizona, it's a dry death.
Dark humor.
Thanks, Grammy. Things are so bad in the rest of the country that New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut will now require certain out-of-state travelers to quarantine upon arrival. So if you're from out of state and want to visit the Big Apple, forget about it. Seriously, they don't want you there. The tri-state area is not alone. With cases surging in the United States, the European Union is prepared to block Americans from entering. Well, fine, Europe. We didn't want to go there anyway. Instead of partying in Ibiza, I'm partying in Kansas City. As I said, one of the biggest coronavirus surges is happening in Arizona. And yesterday, they introduced another well-known disease vector, Donald Trump. The president was there to give a speech to a tightly packed auditorium of supporters, most of whom weren't wearing masks. The only way it would have been more risky is if he'd revved up the crowd with a hepatitis cannon. The venue for Trump's event was a mega church called Dream City. It's like a regular church, but you forgot that you have a test, you're naked, and you're at your cousin Lewis's house, but it's not his house, but it is his house, and then your teeth fall out. And though it was only a crowd of 3,000, Trump was jazzed.
There is something going on. You feel it, right? You feel the spirit?
Oh yeah, that crowd was feeling the spirit. It was in the air, spreading like a fever. Their muscles aching with excitement and an enthusiastically dry cough. I wouldn't be surprised if their lungs were filling up with spirit juice. Trump weighed in on pandemic nomenclature. Now remember, it's called COVID-19 because it's a combination of the words coronavirus, disease, and 19, the year it was discovered. But Trump apparently has not been briefed.
COVID-19, COVID. I say, what's the 19? COVID-19, some people can't explain what the 19. Give me the COVID-19.
Yes, some people who head our government cannot explain why it's called COVID-19. Just like those same some people aren't sure where the word brunch comes from. He's heard rumors that it's a combination of breakfast and unch. Trump compared himself to the radical Democrats and made an interesting contrast.
While their movement is based on hate, ours is based on love.
It's true, Trump loves so many things, mostly hate, but there are some people he loves. A 5, 6, 7, 8. L is for the way Kim looks at me. O is for the only one she sees. V is Vladdy Putin. He's so rootin' tootin'. E is even more dictators that I do adore. Yes, love was made for them and me. Ba-da-ba-ba-da, I'm loving it. Trump also addressed the protests in D.C. that tried to take down a statue of Andrew Jackson.
We saved that incredible statue, you saw it last night, and restored peace and order to the streets. And these people fought back, and the law enforcement was much tougher, much sharper, much better. They really had no trouble handling them. It was like handling a baby for them. It was just like a baby.
Note to self. Never hire Trump as a babysitter. Little Johnny's finally asleep. He was difficult, but don't worry, I handled your baby like a baby, with tear gas and flash grenades, and he cried like a dog. That's $20 an hour. Plus, Trump must have been happier at his Arizona rally than his catastrophic rally in Tulsa over the weekend. If you'll recall, he ended the evening with a shamble of shame, necktie dangling like somebody who tried to turn into the Hulk but got bored halfway through. Pretty sad sight, but not if you ask Donald Trump the lesser. Because last night, Don Jr. posted a photo of his father to Instagram with a reposted caption that read, "The left is attempting to use it as a negative. It's not. This is the look far too many of us that have worked a night shift or a 48-hour shift or a third job are too familiar with." Now, I know what you're thinking, but Don Jr. actually has worked a 48-hour shift, just not in a row. 48 hours is his yearly average. Don Jr. Don, this is been working my ass off for the American people. Good old-fashioned exhaustion, born of love, not for what you're doing, but who you're doing it for. Okay, Donald Trump has not been working his ass off for the American people or anyone else. How do I know? I can prove it. Here's his ass. It's all there. Last night, there were primary elections in New York, Mississippi, Virginia, North Carolina, and Kentucky. There were huge victories, shocking upsets, and nail-biting squeakers, one imagines, because we don't really know a lot yet. Thanks to the coronavirus, most people voted by mail, so in some states, it will be at least a week until winners are known. A week? Who the hell knows what shape the country's going to be in by then? We could all be trading our children for scrap metal and worshiping the Spice Lords. No one's going to stop siphoning fuel out of a hijacked tanker truck to say, "Oh, look, Glenn Anderson is Kentucky's new comptroller." This delay in the results does not bode well for November, because you know that feeling you had between 9 p.m. and midnight on election night? Get ready to be that drunk for 5 days. The point is, this election is not going to be a sprint. It's going to be a marathon, in that before it's over, you're going to be pooping your pants and your nipples are going to be bleeding. And things are not looking good for Trump, by the way. In a new poll conducted by the New York Times, Siena College, Doritos Loco Crunchwrap, the president is trailing Joe Biden by 14 points. That is Joe Mantum. He's an unstoppable force as long as he never leaves his basement. You stay down there, Joe. Even if you win, you stay down there. It's going to take a few months to fumigate the burger farts out of the Oval Office couch. One disturbing part of this poll was the fact that 14% of voters would vote for another candidate, would not vote, or did not know. Did not know? How the hell do you live through 3.5 years of Donald Trump and have no opinion? What's that? Who's president? Donald Trump, the guy from The Apprentice? Well, I missed that one. I was binge watching a marathon of Kevin Spacey movies. What? The group that really can't stand Trump is college-educated white women. In 2016, Hillary Clinton, a college-educated white woman, won this group by just 7 percentage points. Biden currently leads in this group by 39 percentage points. Hey, women, what did I ever do to you? And before you answer, please sign this NDA. Biden is now drawn even with Trump among male voters, whites, and people middle-aged and older. White males middle-aged and older, but that's Trump's base. Jimmy, can we get a picture of those voters? Ah, there they aren't. Trump still has a chance because of the Electoral College. A little late. A little late. But even the people who plan to vote for him don't like him. A Texas Republican who's definitely voting for Trump put it like this. Part of you just feels icky voting for him. Yep, voting for Trump is just a dirty feeling. That's why in Texas, Democrats get voting booths and Republicans get voting showers. Ah, I'm a dirty boy. Ah, think about the tax cut. Nah, it's still dirty. We've got a great show for you tonight. Jon Stewart is here. That's right, our old friend John. Stick around.